It works like this. You're walking your puppy, and everything's going great, and they're smelling something, and they go, skateboard. And the nanosecond that they go, skateboard, jogger, right? And they're, what? Yes, treat. Count in your head, 1001, 1002, yes. Treat them again. Every 2 seconds while that thing is moving, you mark and pay, okay? And what's gonna happen is, it may start here, but it's gonna end up here. Leave it. The dirty little secret in dog training is that has very little to do with the dog. Has more to do with us. You can't predict what's going to happen, but you can prepare how you'll respond. So you want to make sure that you're focused on the environment and human behavior, and then the dog learns really well. Behavior's in the environment, not in the dog. Okay, leave it, all the way. If you really want to help dogs, it's not about one film. It's about film every day. It's about content every day. So it's the ripple effect. It's not just one time. You want to just bombard culture with the proper info. We talked about doing counter conditioning, right? So we talked about marking and paying if your dog's fearful or frustrated or there's something stressful. You can let her leash out just a little bit, so there you go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to mark yes and pay our dogs for me walking through here with crutches, coming through on a skateboard, coming through with the broom. So whenever your dog is in the world and they see something and they go, huh? Yes and treat. And if that's a sustained event, every couple seconds, just mark and pay. And when that ends, you can stop marking and paying, okay? All right, so first item is going to be crutches. So Kush will probably see me first, and Maple, she might. So it's watch your dog to watch me. Keep them on a short leash. You may need to get the food right in their mouth because they may not look back, okay? So you're yesing and treating for me on crutches. Hey, Kush. Hey, Maple. Good. Put that food away in your hand, otherwise she's not going to care. Hey, Gracie. Hey, Maple. Good. Hey, Kush. Okay, so when the crutches go away, food goes away. So again, what this does is it creates good predictive value to sudden environmental contrast or things that are weird. Okay, so the next person on crutches will have a better association than the last one if you don't do this, okay? Right, as soon as I put the skateboard down, start paying. Hey, Maple. Hey, Kush. Yes. Sorry, buddy. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, she's scared of the skateboard. Well, try to get that food in there, you know, reassure, if nothing else. So, if your dog didn't take food, that means your dog's a little stressed by that, right? Fear trumps food, okay? There's no such thing as a picky eater. Every single time someone hires me and they pull up here and I go to the dog, how you doing, buddy? What's going on? And I give them food and they don't take it, that means they're stressed or seriously distracted by the new environment. But dogs aren't picky eaters, right? They may not like the smell or the taste of something, right? But if they're not taking food, fear trumps food. And it can also be extreme distraction. Sometimes in puppy class, puppies are so interested in play, they don't care about food. So puppies take the gold, food takes the silver. All right, here comes the broom. Get ready. Hey, Kush, good. Maple, good. Yes. Okay, yeah. And, you know, the other thing is what's the value of the payment, right? Are you using little pieces of chicken and steak for weird, freaky stuff? Or are you trying to pay with some boring old food you use all the time? So remember the thing about food, that it is money. See the size of that food? That's nothing. I can mitigate billions of years of biological evolution and get a dog to leave a squirrel for that. Yeah, and I got video after video of dogs leaving prey, and I'm paying about that much. But I condition the dog that if you leave the squirrel, I'll pay you. I condition the dog that if you see a skateboard, it means you get paid, okay? So always have food when you're in public, always, always, always. Don't leave your house without it. It's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it, okay? Good job, guys, good job. That's a timing issue, and you guys did really well. Now, the other way that we use the yes marker is what's known as counter conditioning. And this is really important. And I'm going to tell you this, in all honesty, there is not another program that teaches puppies that will explain this to you. And this is going to give you oodles upon oodles of ammunition in the real world. It works like this. You're walking your puppy, and everything's going great, and they're smelling something, and they go, skateboard. And the nanosecond that they go, skateboard, jogger, right? And they're, what? Yes, treat. Count in your head, 1001, 1002. Yes, treat them again. Every 2 seconds while that thing is moving, you mark and pay, okay? And what's going to happen is it may start here, but it's going to end up here. And if you do this reliably, pretty soon your dog is going to be, jogger, pay me. Because they're going to have the predictive value that when the environment changes suddenly, they get paid. Okay? A lot of people call me when their dog is 7, 8, 9, 10 months old, and the phrase is, great as a puppy. That's because puppies are small and everything's kind of intense, and they're taking it in. But if there's no reinforcement for those startling events, once they get a little bit more cognition and a little bit more confidence, okay? So what we want to do is mark yes and pay your dog when they're fearful, frustrated, even excited. I have a video on my YouTube channel of a German Shepherd adolescent dog who's really happy to see people and jumping and jumping. You see me mitigate the distance and bring the dog away, and I'm just marking and paying. We get down the block another, 400 or 500 feet, the dog's sitting and watching people. So you see in real time how I just downshifted the dog. So by marking yes and paying your dog for sudden environmental contrast, even if it's a sound that your dog's like, what is that? You can mark and pay for that. You get a good predictive value when the environment changes suddenly, put a lot in the trust account, and you're really staving off the chances you'll have a reactive dog, okay? So in week 3, we do a segment called Weird Stuff, where I come out of the back room on a skateboard, crutches, pushing a broom, and we instruct you guys to mark yes and pay your dogs so that they have that experience, and then you guys can work on your mechanics and timing, and we can talk about that. Counter conditioning on leash for dogs that are reactive is probably one of the most challenging things that trainers can do, because the environmental contingencies are always different. Even if it's 2 feet or 10 feet or 100 feet, or even if the duration is 2 seconds or 10 seconds, whether the dog is barking, the truck is loud, the skateboard is noisier than the whatever is going on that has the dog reacting, that stimulus, that antecedent, is always going to be varied. And that is one of the reasons why there's usually never 100% reduction in leash reactivity. Watch this dude. Pay. Good. Pay. 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 Good. Nice. There you go. Good. Wait him out. Pay. Market pay. Good. Market pay. Market pay. Yes! Get that marker out. Leave it all the way. Move your feet. Yes. Leave it all the way. Yes. Okay, let's just hang here for a sec. Yes.
See, that's the hardest thing I've been having, because I don't, like, sometimes he's completely fine, but like that's when, like, so I don't start pulling away or keep moving, but it's
market pay. But see, now I know, like, we need a lot more distance, right? So we're just going to hang here. We need more distance, so that's why I said leave it and just grab the leash and started moving, because we need more distance. Yeah, market pay for those people.
That's the hardest thing I have, because he'll start going towards the person completely fine, and then so I'm not ready to, like, mark and pay, and then
you need to switch your thinking, and you need to mark and pay for every single person in the world. You have a guard dog. He's a mastiff. He's got a little extra fear, right?
yes.
And you're his main people, so there may be a little, not necessarily protecting you, but just kind of like doing his job. Yes. Yeah, you got to keep your rate up, buddy. Wait him out. Wait him out. Yes. 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 Pay. Yes. Yes.
So literally, I'm shoving food down his throat.
That's all right.
No, I'm saying that's
he's not fat. Yes. Well, what we want is we don't want him to go over threshold. The more you mark, yes, the more you mark and pay him for seeing people appear, the less chance he's going to bark and lunge at the next set of people and the next set of people, okay? The other thing to realize too is that there is no 100% reduction in any behavior. All behavior has the ability to resurface if the environmental contingencies are in place, and also if the history is leading to that behavior being rehearsed slightly. It can have a a big resurgence eventually. Leash reactivity comes in 3 flavors. You have dog-dog reactivity, so you have dogs who are reactive at other dogs. You have human reactivity, dogs who are barking and lunging and either fearful or frustrated about humans approaching or in their presence on leash. And then you have environmental stimulus, like things on wheels, whether they're strollers, skateboards, bikes, cars, things of that nature that the dog will have some sort of negative association to or want to chase in the case of bikes and skateboards and things of that nature. Yes! Stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid this kid, but I got this big truck here, right? Stay. 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 Okay, with me. Yes! It's okay. You're okay. It's okay. A lot of dogs are afraid of that. It's okay. Yes! 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 Bear weight. Weight. Okay. Bear weight. Okay. Yes. That was great. That was great. Like if we were going to see one dog only, that would be the dog I would pick. Small, barky, across the street. He did great. Bear was actually in the Urban Dawgs puppy kindergarten program about 4 years ago, and over the last 4 years he's done really well. He's had a good social life with dogs. There's been no bites or fights, and the main reason why we met today was dog reactivity on leash. And you saw that one incident where there was a dog across the street barking at him, high rate of reinforcement, and he stayed under threshold. And I really think that the issue with him isn't so much that he's got any issues with dogs. I mean, you know, all dogs are individuals and they may not all get along, but categorically his history says he's good with dogs. He's social. He doesn't have any fights or bites in 4 years. And he's had a lot of chances to as well. He's been around a lot of dogs. Daycare, boarding, families, dogs, etc. The biggest issue is his handler, Ashley. She just needs to be better with her mechanics, her timing, her awareness. She admitted, you know, a lot of times I don't see or hear the dog first, he does, and that's got to change. As soon as she changes her behavior and she improves her mechanics and timing, ups the value of the reward and mitigates her distance a little bit better for him, he's going to do just fine. We're probably going to have some follow-up sessions with you know, the Urban Dawgs classic crew, Ralphie, Jojo, and Cooper, and I think he's going to do really well. So you do the work, dog does better. Dog life. The other good thing about this street too, come on honey, is you have lots of escape routes. You know, like if you need to, you can go into someone's yard. Okay, so here comes a DOG. Yes. So what we're gonna do is, here, come here, I'm gonna have you go this way. I'm gonna have you film me on my phone. Come on, honey. Leave it all the way. Yeah, it's going. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duck down that street. Come on, let's go. Leave it all the way. Yes. I'm paying for the car too. Yes. All the way. Leave it. Yes. Yes. We're gonna go all the way down to this car. So, yes. And then I'm gonna have you stand right behind me. Right, stand right about there. Good girl, shake it off. Okay, watch your fingers on the lens. Yes. 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 Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Okay. Good job. And what I like is, like, see how now, yes. See how she wants to go gather scent? So that's good, right? That's a good sign that she wants to go gather scent. She's not obsessed with that dog, which is great. Yes. All right, well, we're working with Patton today and Steve and Shara, and Patton's main issue is leash reactivity. Might be towards people, definitely towards dogs, and might do some work inside with jumping on counters and timing out, stuff like that. So here we go. Hello? Hi. Hello? Hi, buddy. It's okay. Good boy. It's okay. It's okay. Hi. Oh, good boy. Hi.
Sit.
It's okay. Don't even worry about the sit. Yeah, don't even worry about the sit. Hi, good boy.
Good boy.
Oh, you remember
Good
me.
boy.
Is it possible you got bigger?
Oh my God, he's in a large harness, if you can believe it.
Oh my goodness, buddy. I know.
He got so big.
I saw you when I pulled in. I looked at the head. I was like,
That can't be.
oh my goodness, you are a big boy, huh?
Yeah, it's like,
Good
I can't even
job.
be one of those dog parents. 1 month, 2 months. He's just
Hi, good boy.
rapid from 0 to 60.
So how long have you had him out? Does he need a break from the heat, or?
We just came out literally maybe 2-3 minutes before you
Okay.
pulled in.
Oh, good
so-
boy with your auto sit.
Yes.
Good
boy.
job.
Good boy. He's actually in good mood today.
Oh, you feeling good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
He's probably taken after me because I've actually been
It's okay. Yeah, you
a
like to
little
play,
sick
huh?
with the sinus infection all week, so he's
Hi.
probably taken after me with my
Yeah, I don't think so. There's no subconscious transference of mood or energy. You know, it's all overt. Yeah, there's. Oh, good boy.
He
There
likes
you
the
go.
sunshine for sure.
Yeah, you want to go for walkies?
Pretty sure
Yeah, we can
Steven's
go.
here. He's just coming out in a few moments.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can wait. Yeah, so if I was walking a reactive dog in this neighborhood, if this was, I would be looking at every door. I would be trying to figure out 10 steps ahead my move, because there's a lot of blind corners,
Yep.
you know? Just looking down here, I saw a couple people want to make sure they didn't have a dog.
Yeah. It's definitely, that's the, I mean, most of the time he's good when we're walking through here. It's just when we see the other dogs or picked up on something.
Yes. All right, let's move. Come on. Yeah, I would highly recommend that you also get a bigger treat pouch, because there's going to be times where you're really going to need to
I burn some trees sometimes on the entire wall.
treat pouch.
Yep.
right? Because you have a very small treat pouch there, so you can only put so much food in there. And while those pieces of chicken might be high value, yes, right?
Good boy. Good boy.
Yes, yes, yes. He's not barking at that car now.
And it's the close quarters. He doesn't like when they're nearby him. If he sees one pass by further.
Well, a couple of things that just occurred right there. Your yes marker needs to be a little bit more emphatic, and this is what I paid him. I paid him a handful of food.
Okay, so
That's what I mean. You need to
like
get a
handfuls.
big treat pouch.
Gotcha.
You need to get this treat pouch, and you need to pay this dog, and you need to shove the food in his mouth.
because I remember
Not wait
you
for him
telling me,
to
and that's why I wasn't doing that. Is you said it's not the size of the treat, it's the
Well,
value.
right.
So that's why I was.
That's true. But if that theory does not hold, then you make it more, right? You add some more food to the equation. So you always want to look at your training plan and say, okay, what's not working? Can I adjust it? I mean, that's the thing about being flexible with having, criteria once you get more data. So the other thing is, because he has such a propensity to be reactive, people, cars, sounds, dogs, I would have two hands on that leash, and I would get used to having, that move there that you just did. So it's short, and now you've got this hand to deliver the food.
Good boy.
So it isn't just dogs. It's cars, it's people, it
It's
could be
everything,
sounds. Yeah. And like most Neapolitan Mastiffs, he was bred to be a guard dog. So his genetic lottery probably just gave him a little bit more spookiness than, right? And, Neapolitan Mastiffs weren't bred to be living in a condominium type environment. They're bred to be guard dogs in large properties.
Hopefully not a year.
Let's give him that scent there, and then we'll go this way, because that looks like it could be problematic in there.
You're not allowed to
Yeah,
walk
we're
the
not
dogs
allowed to
today.
walk through there.
Right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, my client that I worked with, she lived over here, and there's a woman over here who had a boxer. So, really make that marker emphatic, and you're gonna have to get really good at staying ahead of the event and looking at him. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Now you want your smells? Okay. You can take your smells. Yeah, I mean, this is Fallujah. So that was my session with Patton today for August 13th, 2017. Worked on his leash reactivity, and then just did some, consulting, talking about different things around the house, just giving them some support. First-time dog owners, so, they've got a little bit more of a challenge. But all in all, great dog, super people. Dog life. That is why it's so challenging, because you have various distances and durations. You have varying intensities of stimulus. And the reason why it's challenging to counter-condition dogs on leash that have reactivity is because the handler of the dog has to be on top of their game. They have to be 150, 250, 350%, 1,000% aware of the environment. They have to have phenomenal leash mechanics, and they have to have excellent timing of both food rewards and also creating distance if they need to either avoid the event or gain some distance for a better result. So when I notice people failing at counter-conditioning their dogs for leash reactivity, it's typically because they're not mitigating the environment and their mechanics aren't mapping towards the dog having a better association. It's no different than any other training context. The human is the biggest variable. But again, getting a dog to do something in a home or in a yard where the environment is more closed and more controllable, rather than feeling good or at least tolerating something that has the dog fearful or frustrated or vexed, is much different. So while counter-conditioning is the same process, if you're counter-conditioning, let's say, a hairbrush to be used in grooming or a harness to go over the dog's head, the process is the same, the pairing is the same, it's a one-to-one pairing. The problem is that it's a lot easier to control that, harness going over the dog's head or that hairbrush going over the dog's coat than it is to control the appearance of skateboards or traffic or other dogs. Even when you do setups and you've got, smart, talented people handling the other dog, or, you can communicate with, let's say, a bicyclist or a skateboarder to appear and disappear as needed, you still have a much greater challenge in getting the dog to feel better or at least tolerate, that fearful stimulus if the dog is afraid of it, than if it's something static like a harness or a hairbrush or something like that. So there's a lot of intrinsic challenges to counter-conditioning dogs who are reactive on leash, and it is not easy. And if you're good at it, it's probably because you're really, really good at dog training. Meeting with Bella and Marianne for our third session of 5. Dog life, kids. Bella. Pay her for this kid when she notices. Yes. Pay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll stop marking one. Yes. Good. Wait her out. Pay again when she notices.
Yes.
Nice. Good job.
Yes.
Okay. Good job. Pay her again because you marked. Remember, if you mark, you got to pay. Don't just say it.
Yes.
You got to say it.
Yes.
No, stop saying it. Say it once, pay. Next time you say it, you're marking her for these people now.
Okay.
So go ahead, mark and pay.
Yes.
Good. Let's lure her back up on the grass. Good job. Mark and pay.
Yes.
I'll stop myself from saying it too.
I know.
Wait 1 sec. Mark and pay.
Yes.
Good. Mark and pay.
Yes.
Good. Shorten your leash 1 more revolution. Mark and pay.
Yes.
Good. Nice. Good job. So for some reason, she found those 2 women a little bit more whatever, frustrating, fearful, exciting. I don't know, but she made a move, whereas all the men, she was kind of like, ease back. Might have been the voices. She said sometimes when you stop and you talk to people and you're talking, they'll bark. She'll bark at them, so that could be it. Good girl. Yeah. Good job, honey. Kids in the car there. Come on, baby. We're not going to go long, but we're going to go to one more place. So when we go into the P.O. box, I'll leash her up, and then you can take the camera, and I'll just show you how, you could commandeer her, when you're in spaces like that.
Right.
Yeah, well, the main thing is, you want to orchestrate it so that she's focused on you and that people don't lean down and reach, because people think, oh, the dog's in here.
Yeah.
And she's in here, so, but, she's not going to, bite their face off, but we don't want her to get spooked because somebody decides to kneel down and stick their big face in her face.
Right.
Here, just mark and pay for this woman on the phone there. Mark and pay for this woman on the phone here. All right, wait her out. We missed it, but it's okay. Pay.
Yes.
Good, because we got the voices, right? Dude behind you. Mark and pay for the woman. Good. Mark and pay again.
Yes.
Good, and let's keep moving. Good. Nice. Okay, so let's just pull up over here for a sec. I will leash her up. Here, hold on 1 second. Here, you take that. Hi, honey. You're okay. I got you, baby girl. And I'll take her.
This way, right?
Yeah, just hold the chest tight, pointed at me and her. Come on, honey. Yes. Yes. Almost. 1 more down. Come on. Come on. Hey, Bill. How are you? This is Marianne and Bella. Bella's on leash. So we actually get lucky with this, with this bubble wrap here, because if somebody comes in and they have something or whatever, we can circumvent that. No, I got a package, but I'm gonna come back later. So I'll see you later, buddy. Bill, I got a package, but I'll come back later. Come back in about an hour, yeah. Yes. Good girl. I'm gonna put my body between her and this woman. Yes. Girl. Yes. Paying for the bike.
Right.
Yeah.
We kind of just leaded her out with the hand, so it
Uh-huh.
wouldn't be an incident.
Well, whenever you're in a tight environment
Right.
and there's, you know, potential for people to move and so forth, what you want to do is just make sure you have her focused, and she's, you know, easily focused. So you notice I do lots of verbal prompting and luring, right? Because those are two very salient things to get the dog's attention. And if I pay her for 10 feet, or if a bike goes by, or if I let her get to a new scent, okay, then she's going to be that much more readily available for me the next time. Touch. Yes. So I'm just going to step off to the side. There's a woman coming this way, so we're just going to wait because it's kind of tight. So it's also a good opportunity to just get another woman across the street at the meter. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. 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 Good girl. Okay, come on, we're gonna go this way. Come on, we're gonna go this way. Come on. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Hey, what's up, buddy?
All right, how you doing?
Yes, good. Yes. You have no idea how much you're helping me right now. You have no idea how much you're helping me. Yes. Just getting her used to weird stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yes. 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 Good girl. Ready? Okay, come on. Thanks.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Yes. So you notice when he kind of threw his voice a little, she turned right around like, what? Good girl. But she did great with all that. I mean, that's like classic,
Everything.
if a dog's going to react. Yes. You know, if a dog's going to react at stuff, yes. That's a lot of stuff going on, you know. She did great. That's the power of mark and pay, you know. Come on, baby girl. You know, and that's the other thing that I always tell people is, like, you have so many opportunities on a dog walk to get a lot of counter conditioning that you never know what could happen. It could be really boring. It could be super exciting. Come on, let's get you some water. Come on, go work on some training. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're counter conditioning dogs who have leash reactivity is they ask too much of the dog. They ask the dog to sit, or they want the dog to face them. They have a dog walk too close as a test dog if the dog's reactive to dogs and the dog goes over a threshold. The most important thing you can do for a dog who has or potentially has leash reactivity is to first and foremost pay attention to the environment and mitigate your distance so the dog stays under the threshold. That's the first thing. Secondly, I would recommend lots of high value food reinforcement for anything in the category that the dog is fearful of or frustrated by, because the process is the same. There might be a different emotional component to frustration and fear, but the mechanics, the process of paying the dog a food reward at an appropriate distance is still the same. fear or frustration being the emotion the dog is feeling. So if you mitigate your distance and you've got high value food rewards and the dog is taking the food and staying under the threshold after the stimulus appears and the dog is oriented to it, this is what's going to eventually happen if you're good at this. So all of a sudden your dog whips around and they turn to something, whether it's a bike or a person or a dog. In that moment, yes, and you treat. If it's a sustained event, if it's a 2-second, 3-second, 10-second event where the stimulus is going by, you mark and pay every couple of seconds. Yes, and give the dog food reward. When that stimulus leaves the environment, you stop paying. Pretty soon, what's going to happen, if you're good at this, is the stimulus becomes the cue. So when the dog whips around and looks at traffic or bikes or other dogs or people or sudden environmental contrasts in general, they're going to turn around and look at you for that food if you're good at this. So if you can, yes, mark and pay your dog for stimulus that they are prone to react at, and you can have a high rate of reinforcement, pretty soon your dog's going to disengage and feel much better about that event, and that's what everybody wants. So the take home is, don't pile up criteria, look to dissipate criteria, look to dissipate, right? You want to increase distance, lower duration, increase your rate of reinforcement, okay? Lower your lag time in delivering that food to the first orientation and then the subsequent, orientations while that event is occurring. If you do this, chances are the dog is going to start to bounce off that stimulus or bounce off the marker. Okay, I've worked with a lot of dogs where within, maybe a handful of trials over the course of 10 minutes, when they hear that yes marker, they bounce right off of it and they look for that food. So what's really important in terms of judging your success with leash reactive dogs is better percentages, not perfection, because you can never predict what's going to happen. Somebody may come out of their house suddenly screaming and yelling. Somebody might come around the corner quickly. There could be a dog that barks behind a fence you didn't see. So in those moments, again, you want to have had a lot of practice reassuring your dog, shortening the leash appropriately, getting them away from the stimulus, marking and paying, while all of that's occurring, and it takes practice. So, you don't want to wait until, oh my God, there's a dog right there across the street. Mark and pay for a dog that's way down the street that your dog sees. Mark and pay for a dog that's barking in the distance. Don't wait for the big, scary skateboard that's 10 feet away to mark and pay. Get the one that's across the street or the parking lot. The dog notices it, but it's not that bad. Mark and pay. Remember, behavior that's rehearsed becomes stronger. So, here's the take home. Focus on the environment, focus on human mechanics of both your timing of rewards and your distance creation, and your dog sooner or later will start to put together that the stimulus in the environment that was once stressful or frustrating or fearful now predicts getting a food reward, and they will more likely than not disengage and look back to the handler. And that's a very elegant design to have a dog feel better about stimulus and to obtain some operant behavior in the process without having to request too much from the dog. And that's why it works really well to just mark and pay or get away or do a little of both. Create some distance and then mark and pay. The parameters for leash reactivity of distance and duration are crucial. The type of distraction or stimulus, the antecedent, whatever that is, whether it's dogs, traffic, or humans, those are my three macro categories. Your distance from that and your duration of exposure are crucial. You have to have a high rate of reinforcement, meaning you have to mark yes and pay every 2 to 3 to 4 seconds, depending on that distance and duration and where the dog is at in their pathology, right? Secondly, different stimulus is going to have a different association intrinsically. Humans are going to either be something the dog is fearful of or interested in or happy to see or excited, etc. So humans get everything from startled to happy to excited, etc. Dogs viewing other dogs, the issue there, dogs are socially compulsive and they want to know what's up with that dog. So when the dog goes, huh? And they see or they hear a dog, they're thinking safe, unsafe, neutral. Which one am I going to be? What's up with this dog? And that's why it's really crucial, again, to mark yes and pay upon that initial orientation. And then as the event plays out and your distance and duration and so forth are starting to become more apparent, you have to have your plan be flexible. Okay, now, traffic, bikes, skateboards, lawn equipment, all that kind of stuff in the category of traffic. It's probably always going to be a little startling or weird or fearful for most dogs, right? And that's why they're going to bark or they're going to cower, they're going to try to get away. And again, your distance and duration of exposure to those traffic or machine-like stimulus is going to be really crucial. What is the distance? What's the duration? How fast are you paying? What's your rate of reinforcement? Are you paying while you're creating distance? So you're yesing and treating, but you're creating distance, so you're doing double reinforcement work. You're giving the dog stress relief by taking them away and creating more distance, and you're marking and paying? Or are you just standing there? Okay, so again, now we're talking about human mechanics. That's the variable. The human in the equation is the variable that matters most, because that is the variable that you can control, and also is the variable that everything else is going to be decided on pretty much. I mean, you can't predict if a skateboard is going to show up or if another dog is going to be around the corner, but you can prepare how you'll respond. And again, I often say that dog training in many cases is a matter of inches and seconds, and if you can create the inches and you can manipulate the seconds as you need to for reinforcement and consequence, things go much better. As I've said many times, leash reactivity is a matter of awareness, paying attention, getting ready, having a flexible plan, having the proper reinforcement, a nice high rate, creating distance. It's like playing a sport. You gotta stay flexible, you gotta keep your head in the game. And if you do, pretty soon, your dog is gonna have a better association and be more reliable when you're met with these potentially stressful or fearful events out on leash.